Okay, we're live. Morning, Facebook. We're going to do a quick market commentary and run through some of the major indices, currencies, and commodities, and have a look and see where they all are. And we'll also have a look at our oil trade from this month. So that's going nicely as well. So let me get the screens up so we can see this. There we go. So we'll start with the S&P. So let's have a little look. Making new highs still. So the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow charging on at the moment. I'm going to just go to the weekly chart so we can see this. So strong close last week with a new high, closed, engulfed the previous candle. Not that that means a huge amount where we are. That's happened, fairly regularly. But for me, again, all clear here on the futures. I think 4,000 here is a reasonable target. For me, it's clean air all the way. So the only trades that I would consider in this particular area would be with the trend longs. So for me, looking at where we are right now, if I just pull in the pen, for me, if we came down into this zone here, I wouldn't automatically short. These were the previous all-time highs that have been broken. So now we're up here. I wouldn't really look to short until we were significantly lower. So this whole area here is no man's land for me. It doesn't mean I would go long in this area, but I would be looking for with the trend setup, so with the trend pullbacks and with the trend breakouts on the S&P. Very similar scenario here if we go and have a little look at the Dow. You can see there's the weekly chart, just hovering around its highs just there. Dow didn't quite move quite as far up, but you can see just hovering around its highs. So the same thing here. I'll be looking here on the Dow for price to make new highs, and then I'd look for trades long with the trend. If we look at the NASDAQ, similar thing, all-time highs coming into last week. I'll show you the weekly chart as well. Very similar, big candle up, open slightly higher today. So it's the same thing here. I'm not going to go against the trend. I'm not going to use an opinion on whether I think the market is going to fall or not, or I'm not going to use the old analogy of it, how it can't possibly go any higher. For me, there's nothing in the way here. So for me, I will just trade with the trend long, and our guys in our trading room will do exactly the same. They'll trade with the trend long based on what they are seeing here. So nothing short on Dow, NASDAQ, or S&P, and the price has got to get out of this, what we call is no man's zone here. It's going to have to make a move down. Now we do have a trend line break strategy that you saw on US dollar yen to the long side when I opened this up, that you could consider once a significant trend line is broken, but that is nowhere near at the moment. So yeah, all upside on those markets there. DAX, we actually had a short trade on the DAX that was a loser. DAX has gone a little bit higher, so same thing here. The DAX has had a move up, giving us a slight new high. Difference with the DAX is our trade was triggered because we had a previous resistance to work to. Now the DAX has gone higher, so be it. That's a loser. That's all good. So at the moment you can see the DAX has gone a little bit higher. So for us now, we wouldn't have that same trade set up because we've got no resistance in the way here. So the DAX now in a very similar position to the S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ in that it has got no resistance from where we are going forward. So nothing there to concern ourselves. So for me, same idea. It'd be with the trend breakouts and pullbacks on the DAX as long as it went a little bit higher. For me, that's not enough of a clear new high compared to the previous ones in Jan. It would need to go higher to do that. Let's have a quick look at gold, see where we are. I'm going to go up to the weekly chart because you can see we've had this choppy sideways market. So from a swing point of view, not a lot happening. So still hugging this weekly 50 moving average. So slight higher low. You can see here, didn't get higher back in January. I was looking for a push above these highs here, and then I'd be looking for a retest of the all-time highs. Didn't get that, you can see, but we are hugging this weekly 50 moving average. If we were to come down and take these lows out, then on the lower time frame, so on the daily and the 4 hour, we could have some short trades on gold in this little zone here, down towards these previous lows from way back in, well, I say way back in 2020. So for me, if gold shows its hand, goes lower, creates a new low. Then on the daily 4-hour time frames, we could have some short positions on gold. Long for me on gold would have to be, we might be able to sneak one in based on the criteria we have, but ideally you'd want to be above these levels and then you'd look for a retest of these highs. But at the moment, it's just sitting in that gap, but in just hugging that 50. So for me, key one on gold will be a break of the lows from back here in, when was that? November. So looking for a break of those lows in November. Silver, if we look at the weekly chart, silver slightly differently. Silver's had a retest of its highs up here. There was all sorts of rumors about the Wall Street bets doing something with silver. We don't concern ourselves with that. We look for the setup, look for the trade. So yeah, retested these highs. Quite a volatile week last week, but that's not uncommon with silver. So for me, potential reversals off of this level here. Some of our guys were looking at a trade, and I'm just going to go off screen to the 4-hour to see whether or not that set up. No, it did set up, but it was too big a risk to reward. So we actually had a trade on the 4-hour, but the setup was basically too big a risk for the potential reward down to the next level. So it wasn't traded. I'll go back to the daily and you can see here. So on the daily chart now, what I would be looking for is a retest of these highs. That could give us a potential reversal. But if I go back to the weekly, what I would really look for is a break of these highs, get us above that $30 mark, and then it's clean air. And if I just pull in the monthly chart, you'll see this. If we get above these previous highs, then it's clean air up to this level here. And this isn't a strong area of resistance, but the 2012 area just there. So you've got a highs and you've got another set of highs. So it's fairly clean air on silver if we break these previous highs from August. So now let's have a little look at oil. So I'll just pull it in so you can see oil's still running at the moment. We're long on oil. You can see it there. This is one trade, 2 orders, but 1 trade. So long on oil at the moment. Now, in terms of where I'm looking for, I'm essentially trailing the stop on oil, but we'll have a little look at it from an analysis point of view and see what it's showing us. So I'm going to go to the weekly chart where you can see we've got prior highs up here at around $66 on the futures on the NYMEX. We've got $60 a barrel just here where you can see price was very choppy in 2019. So we've got $60 a barrel there. We've got this monthly trend line. So for me, this is a trailing stop strategy. So this strategy has got a very fixed set of rules. So I'm literally trailing the stop. Currently, the trade is sitting above a 3-to-1. So it's hit a 3-to-1. So my stop is now at 1-for-1. So I'm trailing my stop a ratio of 2 away on this particular setup. Now, because of that, I am not going to take profit at the trend line. I am not going to take profit at a level. So if somebody said to me, well, why wouldn't you take profit at the trend line? Or why wouldn't you take profit at the resistance line? It's because the data for that strategy outweighs me doing anything technical on the chart. However, I think it's really good if you're running a strategy in that way that you're aware that there are certain areas where you may see price react. So I'm just aware of that longer term trend line, and I'm aware of those previous highs just that little bit higher up. I'm not going to do anything with that because the data of 20 years is going to outweigh what I'm going to do technically here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got up towards this trend line, had a reaction and pull back. But if we get to 4-to-1, then I'm going to trail that stop up a little bit higher. So we are all good there on oil. I'm just going to quick look at euro. Just want to have a quick look at euro because interestingly enough, euro's had a reaction to its weekly 21. So I think there is potential, especially if euro gets above the previous highs that we saw in January, for us to get up and retest those December 2018 highs here. Oh, it's February actually, Feb highs from 2018. So it's had a good little pullback here, euro. For us, euro, we're watching to see whether or not this trend line gets significantly broken. If we take these lows out from last week and get a close below the trend line, close below the weekly 21 and these previous lows, then I'd be looking for a retest down at these levels. So these lows and the weekly 50. But if we react here and we can take these highs out, then I would be looking for a retest of the 2000 and 18 highs. All right. I think that's me done. Yeah, that's me done for now. So I'm off to go and do a session with my guys in the trading room. I will be back with you with a couple of Facebook Lives this week. And also, we do have a Finance Friday this Friday. So keep an eye out on your emails, and I'll be back in touch with you again very soon.